Hi, and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Fabric Bias. It is Wednesday, February 14th, 2024. This is my yesterday project. It is a super basic tote bag that I created because a friend of mine is in charge of creating an event and she wants to have door prizes. So she asked me to create some tote bags for her so that she could create some door prizes. And she asked me for 5. So we were talking about that about 2 days ago, but I didn't have time to sew that night. So yesterday, when I got up and got ready, I had some time. And so I sewed up um, I guess I'll call it a prototype. I sewed up a sample bag essentially for her. So I can tell you it's a super quick sew because I was timing myself so I wouldn't be late for work. And it took me just around 30 minutes. And that's with a couple of short interruptions and also taking some basic notes. So I would know what I did in case she did like it, what she did, because I sewed 4 more that evening. So it is from a 15-inch cut of fabric by the width of the fabric. So 41 or 42 inches wide by 15 inches high, non-directional fabric because you're going to turn it and use the width actually as the height of the bag. Once I had the width of fabric cut, I just cut back 8 inches off of that width to create the handles. So the handles are actually 4 inches by 15 inches and then folded into 4s and sewed. Because it is an unlined tote, it's a super light tote, which is really nice. To do the side seams, I did French seams to hide my raw edges, and then the base is just the fold, so there is no seam here. I do press in a seam line because you make to box the corners, so there's a slight box on the bottom. To box the corners, I use the triangle method. That's what I call it because I don't know what else to call it. And you need to be able to line your side seam up with where that center seam would be, so you need to press it in on that one to create a nice triangle before you start. I didn't measure my sewing line here. All I did was I looked at my base plate where the 3/4 inch mark was on my base plate. I imagined it extending out, and I took my triangle and I extended that point. I sewed that point where along that imaginary line. I could have put tape down, but I was being lazy on that, and I just kept it along there. So I sewed about 3/4 inch where that point would have extended out on that one. If I was doing more than 5 bags, which I might if she wants more, I would lay down a piece of tape so I wouldn't even have to think about it. Just slide it right through on that. So I'm not cutting off the triangle edges because if I'm sewing an open bag like this, I don't do that because then you have another set of raw edges to deal with, and the triangle doesn't get in the way, and if you leave it there, it's actually stronger for the bag. So I don't cut that off. To do the hem up at the top, again, I didn't measure. I just eyeballed about 3/4 to an inch, folded it over, pressed it, and then folded it back under again, that same measurement, and pressed it again. Before I sewed it in place, I took my sewn handles and I tucked them underneath all the way to the edge fold here. And then I took them and flapped them over. So they went in this direction, under the fold, under the hem, and then flopped over the top. Then I sewed around my hem to close it, back stitching over all the handles as I went around. And then I sewed again up top, a top stitch, back stitching over the handles so the handles are on really nice and firm on that one. On these two butterfly kind of moth bags, they look like moths to me because of the color of the bag. I actually had when I went to go cut it, the fabric was crooked. You know how that goes when it's not cut right. And so I straightened it out, and I ended up with enough to make the little tabby. So I couldn't resist putting a tabby into these bags. I didn't put them in any of the other bags. It's really not necessary, but me and tabs, I kind of like them on that. So there they are. I hope you like them. I hope that wherever and whenever you're at, you're having a great time, and thanks for watching.